Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive, into the Central Provident Fund.
CPF in Singapore.
Yes, CPF, as it's known.
Yes, CPF.
I'm so excited to break this down with you, especially because we're going to be focusing on how CPF can help you meet those really big life needs,
Yeah.
owning a home, taking care of your health care, and making sure you have a comfortable retirement.
Right, because it's one thing to know it exists, but it's another to see how it actually works in action.
Totally.
And we're pulling all of this information straight from the source, the official CPF website.
Straight from the source.
So no hearsay here, just the facts.
The website actually frames CPF as the foundation for having financial security in Singapore.
Okay.
And it really emphasizes that it's more than just retirement savings.
Okay.
It's about supporting you throughout your life.
Okay. I'm intrigued. So where do we start with all this?
Well, a good place to start is that the website highlights 3 basic needs that CPF wants to help you address.
Owning your home, covering your healthcare costs, and making sure you have a steady stream of income after you retire.
Yeah, those are big ticket items for sure, and I'm guessing they're all connected somehow, right?
They are all connected.
Yeah.
The website really emphasizes this trade-off that every dollar you spend on housing is a dollar you can't save for retirement.
Ooh, that makes you think. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of buying a place, but it's a huge financial commitment that can really impact your future.
For sure.
So how does CPF help us navigate that?
It wants you to start thinking about your long-term financial goals.
Okay.
So, for example, it emphasizes keeping some savings in your ordinary account even after you use it to buy a home.
Okay.
That way you have a buffer for things like your future mortgage payments or any unexpected expenses.
So it's all about balance, meeting your current needs, but also planning for those future needs.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Now let's talk about healthcare. Tell me about this MediSave thing.
MediSave, it's your dedicated healthcare savings account. It helps you cover things like your hospitalization, certain outpatient treatments, and even insurance premiums.
Hold on, insurance premiums too.
Yeah.
That's pretty helpful, especially as healthcare gets more and more expensive these days.
Exactly, and it helps you manage those healthcare costs proactively and make sure that you have those funds set aside when you need them.
Okay, speaking of long-term planning,
Yeah.
CPF also has this really interesting scheme called CPF Life for retirement income.
Yes.
Okay, I've heard of CPF Life, but I'm a little fuzzy on the details, what's so special about it?
It's essentially a longevity insurance annuity that provides monthly payouts regardless of how long you live.
So, you don't have to worry about outliving your savings.
Exactly. It takes away so much of that uncertainty that people have around retirement planning.
Yeah, that would be a huge weight off your shoulders.
Totally. It gives you peace of mind knowing that you'll have a steady stream of income throughout your retirement, your golden years.
Okay, but how does all of this money actually accumulate?
That's a great question. That's where understanding the structure of your CPF accounts comes in.
Okay, let's break it down. What are these different accounts and how do they work?
So as you work and contribute to CPF, your savings are distributed across 3 accounts.
Okay.
The ordinary account, or OA, the MediSave account, or MA, and the special account, or SA.
Okay.
And then when you turn 55, a retirement account is created.
The RA.
The RA, exactly.
Okay, so we have 4 in total, the OA, MA, SA, and the RA. But how much are we actually contributing to all these accounts?
So the contribution rates vary based on your age.
Okay.
And they can range from about 12.5% to 37% of your monthly wages.
Wow, that's a big range.
It is. So for example, let's say you're 30 years old as an employee. You'd contribute 20% of your salary.
Okay.
And then your employer would contribute another 17%,
Oh, wow.
totaling 37%. But once you cross 55, the rates gradually decrease.
Okay, so the younger you are, the higher the contribution
Yeah.
rate.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense, gives your savings more time to grow.
Exactly. The idea is to maximize your savings potential during your peak earning years.
Okay, but what about people who aren't in traditional employment, like freelancers or self-employed folks? Do they miss out on CPF?
That's a really good question. And CPF accounts can actually be opened through means other than your employment contributions.
Okay.
So, for example, you can make cash top-ups.
Oh, okay.
And newborns even receive a MediSave grant.
So it's really about providing options and recognizing that not everyone's financial journey is the same.
Exactly. It's about making the system accessible and inclusive and catering to the diverse needs of Singapore's workforce.
Now, I'm curious how we can actually grow these CPF savings beyond those regular contributions.
Yeah.
You mentioned cash top-ups, but are there other ways to boost those balances?
Well, for starters, your CPF savings earn interest,
Okay.
up to 5% per annum for those below 55,
Okay.
and up to 6% for those 55 and above.
Wait, 5% to 6%? That's way better than regular savings accounts.
It is.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
And here's where it gets really interesting: compound interest. So the website gives this example. Imagine you contribute $1 to your special account or SA before you're 55.
Okay.
Taking into account your employer's contribution, your account would actually receive $1.85.
Oh,
After about 40 years, that $1.85 could potentially grow to $7.40.
so my employer's contribution also earns interest.
Right.
That's a nice bonus.
Yeah, it's like your money is working for you even while you sleep.
I like that.
Oh.
But compound interest isn't the only way to boost your savings, right?
No, it's not.
Okay.
The government also provides support through the Workfare Income Supplement Scheme, or WIS,
Okay.
which specifically targets lower wage workers.
So there's like a safety net built into the system,
Yeah.
making sure those who need that extra boost can still benefit from CPF.
Exactly. Now, on top of that, there's a whole range of top-up options.
Okay.
You can make cash top-ups to any of your CPF accounts, the OA, SA, or MA,
Okay.
or specifically to your MA if you want to focus on healthcare savings.
Okay, so even if my income isn't super high, I can still contribute extra to my CPF and take advantage of that compound interest.
Yeah,
That's pretty empowering.
it is.
What about for those who are closer to retirement but haven't hit their target savings amount?
Yeah,
Is there any way to catch up?
there is. It's called the Matched Retirement Savings Scheme, or MRSS,
Okay.
and it's designed for those aged 55 and above.
Okay.
The government will match your cash top-ups to your RA up to a certain limit.
Wow.
So let's say you're 58 years old and want to retire at 65. Using the MRSS calculator, we can see that topping up $500 per month could boost your retirement payout by a significant percentage.
Wow, that's a really concrete example of how those top-ups can make a real difference.
Yes.
It seems like there's a lot of support available to help people reach those retirement savings goals.
Yeah.
But what about those who are a bit more investment savvy?
Yeah.
Can we invest our CPF savings to potentially grow them even faster?
CPF offers the option to invest a portion of your OA and SA savings in various approved schemes,
Like,
ranging from unit trusts and bonds to even gold.
wow, that's quite a selection.
Yeah.
So we've got options for different risk appetites and investment styles. I imagine it's essential to do your research before diving into that world, though.
Absolutely. And if you're not comfortable managing those risks, you can always leave your savings in your CPF account to earn that steady interest.
Makes sense. It's about finding that balance for your own risk tolerance.
Exactly.
But what about those who've already tapped into their CPF savings, say, for a house?
Yeah.
Is there a way to kind of replenish those funds?
Yes. You can make a voluntary housing refund.
Okay.
This means you can choose to partially or fully refund the CPF savings you used for your house purchase back into your OA, which can then be transferred to your RA for retirement.
That's a smart way to top up those retirement funds.
Yeah.
Especially if you've had some financial wins later on.
Right.
Okay, so we've covered how to build up those CPF savings, but how about actually using them? I know it's not just for retirement, right?
Right.
Where do we even start?
Let's start with the ordinary account, or OA,
Okay.
since that's the one many people use to buy a property or pay off their housing loans.
Right. Housing is a big expense in Singapore.
For sure.
So it's great that CPF can help us manage that. But is it advisable to completely drain our OA for a house? What if we need those funds later?
That's a great question, and while you definitely can use your OA for housing, the website strongly advises against emptying it completely.
Okay.
Remember, it's about finding that balance.
Right.
Keeping some savings in your OA provides a buffer for future mortgage payments, those unexpected expenses, and of course allows those savings to continue earning interest.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. It's about being strategic and having that long-term view.
Exactly.
Okay, now what about healthcare? How do our Media savings come into play?
Well, as we touched on earlier, Medisave is specifically designed to help you manage those healthcare costs throughout life.
So it's not just for those huge hospital bills.
No.
What else can I use my Medisave for?
You can use it for a range of things, including hospitalization day surgery, certain outpatient treatments, and even to pay premiums for approved insurance plans.
That's reassuring to know, especially since those medical bills can really add up. What kind of insurance plans are we talking about here? Anything specific we should know?
There are a few key schemes you can tap into using your Medisave.
Okay.
There's ElderShield, which provides financial support if you need long-term care due to severe disability.
Okay.
And then there's CareShield Life, which is an enhanced version of ElderShield with higher payouts and lifelong coverage.
So it's like having that extra layer of financial security.
Absolutely.
Especially as we age and those healthcare needs might change.
Right. And don't forget about MediShield Life,
All right.
which is a basic health insurance plan that helps cover those hefty hospital bills and certain costly outpatient treatments. It's designed to provide that essential safety net for everyone.
So it's a pretty comprehensive approach to healthcare.
It is.
Medisave for the direct expenses.
Yeah.
And then these insurance schemes to provide that added protection. It's good to know that CPF isn't just about retirement, but about supporting us throughout life.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that life throws curveballs and having a system in place to help you navigate those financial bumps along the way.
Now, speaking of retirement, we've talked a lot about building up those savings. But how do those RA savings actually come into play when we reach that stage?
So when you retire, your CPF savings, especially those in your RA, become your primary source of income, ensuring you have those funds to cover your living expenses.
So it's finally time to tap into those retirement funds we've worked so hard to build.
Right.
What are our options? Do we get like a lump sum, or are there other ways to access those savings?
CPF actually offers you flexibility in how you access those retirement savings.
Okay.
From age 55, you can start withdrawing from your RA either in full or in part after setting aside that required retirement sum.
So we have control over how and when we access those funds. That's a good level of autonomy.
Oh, it is. But here's a tip from the website. You don't have to withdraw everything at once.
Okay.
If you don't have immediate financial needs, leaving your savings in your CPF accounts might be more beneficial.
Why is that? Doesn't it make more sense to like withdraw it and manage it yourself?
Well, remember those attractive interest rates we talked about.
Yeah.
Your savings continue to earn interest even in retirement.
Right.
And those rates are often higher than what you'd get in a regular savings account.
Oh, I see. So it's about weighing those current needs against the potential for future growth.
Exactly.
But what about those who want that guaranteed income in retirement?
Right.
That's where CPF Life comes in.
You got it.
Right.
CPF Life is designed to provide you with those lifelong monthly payouts starting from age 65.
Okay.
Think of it as like a pension, but one that you've personally contributed to, and that's tailored to your specific circumstances.
Okay.
It uses the savings in your RA to provide those regular payouts, ensuring a steady stream of income no matter how long you live.
That's a huge relief for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Knowing they're not going to outlive their savings. CPF Life seems like a pretty solid option.
It is. It takes a lot of the guesswork and anxiety out of retirement planning.
Okay. We talked about using CPF to buy a house. But does it offer any support for housing in retirement? Like if we want to downsize or access some of that home equity?
It does. CPF has options for what they call housing monetization, which essentially means converting your home equity into income.
So we can actually leverage our homes to kind of supplement our retirement income.
Yes.
Tell me more about these housing monetization options.
There are a couple of schemes to consider. There's the Silver Housing Bonus, or SHB, which is for those looking to downsize their HGB flats. So if you sell your larger flat and buy a smaller one, you can receive a cash bonus.
So downsizing doesn't have to be a financial burden.
Right.
It can actually provide a boost to your retirement funds.
That's pretty cool. Right.
What about those who want to stay in their current home but still need to access some of that home equity?
There's the Lease Buyback Scheme, or LBS, which allows you to sell a portion of your flat's lease back to HDB while continuing to live in your home.
So you get the best of both worlds.
You do.
Staying put, but also unlocking some of that home equity for retirement.
Exactly.
These housing monetization schemes seem like valuable tools
They are.
for navigating that financial landscape of retirement.
It's recognizing that your home is an asset that can be leveraged to support your financial goals.
Okay, we've talked a lot about managing our CPF savings during our lifetime, but what happens to those savings after we're gone? Does CPF have a system in place to handle that?
It does. It's called CPF nomination.
Okay.
And it allows you to specify who you want to receive your CPF savings after you pass away.
So it's like a will, but specifically for your CPF savings.
Yeah.
What if you don't make a nomination? What happens to the money then?
It doesn't disappear, but it does get a bit more complicated.
Okay.
Without a CPF nomination, your savings go to the public trustee who will distribute them based on Singapore's inheritance laws.
Okay.
This process can take time, and it might not align perfectly with your wishes.
So making a nomination gives you control over where your savings go.
Right.
And ensures your loved ones are taken care of. It's about having that peace of mind, knowing that your affairs are in order.
Exactly. It's a simple step that can make a big difference in ensuring your wishes are carried out.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, from maximizing our CPF savings to using them for various needs. But before we move on, I want to circle back to something really important. CPF support for lower-income individuals. We touched on the Workfare Income Supplement Scheme earlier, but are there any other initiatives designed to help those who might need that extra assistance?
There are. The Silver Support Scheme, or SSS, provides quarterly cash supplements to seniors who had lower incomes during their working years,
Okay.
ensuring they have some financial support in retirement.
That's a crucial safety net for those who might have struggled to save enough during those working years. Are there other support measures? Does it go beyond just CPF?
It does. The government offers a range of support measures like healthcare subsidies and GST vouchers to help alleviate the financial burden on lower-income individuals and seniors.
So it's all part of a broader effort to ensure everyone has access to those essential services
Right.
and a
Sure.
decent standard of living.
Exactly.
It's encouraging to see that CPF isn't just a savings scheme,
It's not.
but a comprehensive social safety net designed to support individuals throughout their lives.
Throughout their lives, from those early working years all the way through retirement.
And it's constantly evolving to meet the changing needs of Singaporeans.
Right. That commitment to adapting and improving is really remarkable.
I couldn't agree more. This deep dive has already been so insightful,
It has.
revealing how CPF empowers individuals to build a more secure financial future.
It does.
It's about more than just saving for retirement. It's about making informed choices,
Yes.
navigating those financial challenges, and having that system in place to support you along the way.
It's a powerful tool, and understanding how to utilize it effectively can have a huge impact on your overall financial well-being.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on to part 2 of our deep dive,
Yes.
well, we're going to explore some more specific aspects of TPF,
Okay.
like investing your savings and planning for those golden retirement years.
Yes.
I want to leave you with a thought-provoking question.
Okay, let's hear it.
We've talked extensively about how CPF can be used for housing,
We have.
but have you ever considered how those housing choices today might impact your retirement income down the line?
Ooh.
It's something to ponder as you navigate that exciting
Right.
and sometimes overwhelming world of property in Singapore.
That's a really good point. It's all interconnected.
Right.
And those decisions, especially those big financial commitments, have ripple effects that can extend far into the future.
Exactly. So as we transition to part 2, take some time to reflect on that connection between housing and retirement.
Yeah.
It's about seeing that bigger picture and making choices that align with your long-term financial goals.
Join us in part 2, where we'll continue to uncover those intricacies of CPF and how it can help you shape a brighter financial future.
Yeah.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Central Provident Fund in Singapore.
We're picking up right where we left off, exploring how CPF empowers you to take control of your financial future.
And this time, we're going to focus on one of the most interesting aspects of CPF, investing your savings.
Investing.
Yeah.
Sounds a bit more complex than just letting my money sit in my CPF account.
It can be, but it also offers the potential for higher returns
Okay.
compared to just earning interest.
Okay.
It's about making your money work harder for you.
Okay. I'm listening. But before we jump into the specifics, I have to admit I'm not exactly a financial whiz. Where do we even begin with this whole CPF investment thing?
Well, the good news is that CPF offers a range of investment options to suit different risk appetites and financial goals. You can choose from things like unit trusts, exchange-traded funds or ETFs, bonds, and even gold.
Wow, that's quite a variety. So there's something for everyone, whether you're a seasoned investor or just dipping your toes into the investment pool.
Exactly. But before you get too excited, it's important to note that not everyone is eligible to invest their CPF savings.
Okay.
There are certain criteria you need to meet.
That makes sense. I imagine there are some safeguards in place to ensure people are making informed decisions, especially since we're talking about their hard-earned savings.
You're absolutely right. CPF wants to make sure that individuals are adequately prepared before venturing into the world of investments. So there are a few key requirements.
Okay, like what do I need to do to qualify for CPF investments?
Well, for starters, you need to have a minimum sum of savings in either your OA or SA, depending on which account you want to invest from.
Okay.
This ensures that you have a sufficient base for your primary needs, like housing or retirement,
Right.
before allocating funds to investments.
So it's about prioritizing those essentials first. Makes sense. What else? Are there any other hoops to jump through?
Yes. You also need to pass a self-awareness questionnaire, or SAQ.
A questionnaire.
Yeah, it's a test that assesses your understanding of investment concepts your risk tolerance, and your overall financial knowledge.
Ah, so it's not just about having the money.
Right.
You need to demonstrate a certain level of investment savviness.
Exactly. It's about protecting individuals from making uninformed decisions that could potentially harm their financial well-being.
That's reassuring. It seems like CPF is taking a responsible approach, ensuring people are entering the investment arena with their eyes wide open.
Mm,
So let's say I've met all the criteria and I'm ready to start investing. How do I actually go about making those investments? Do I have to go to a bank or a financial advisor?
It's actually much more convenient than that. You can manage your CPF investments online through the CPF website or their mobile app.
Oh, wow.
It's all about empowering individuals to take control and make those decisions at their own pace.
That's fantastic. Having those online tools makes the process so much more accessible. But I imagine even with all these resources, investing can still feel overwhelming, especially if you're not a financial expert.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to those who are hesitant or unsure where to begin?
Don't rush into it. Take your time to learn about the different investment options.
Okay.
Understand the associated risks, and most importantly, align your investment strategy with your financial goals and risk tolerance.
So it's about finding that sweet spot, the investments that match your comfort level and your long-term aspirations.
Exactly. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure, there's absolutely no shame in seeking professional guidance. Financial advisors who specialize in CPF investments can provide personalized recommendations tailored to your specific needs and goals.
Having that expert guidance can be invaluable, especially in a field as complex as investing. It's about getting that extra layer of support and reassurance. But before we move on, I want to touch on something you mentioned earlier, the risks associated with investing. It's important to acknowledge that investments can fluctuate in value, and there's always the possibility of losing money, right?
Right. Investing is not a guaranteed path to riches, and it's essential to approach it with a realistic mindset.
Okay.
Don't expect to get rich quickly and be prepared for potential ups and downs in the market.
So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's about making informed decisions and understanding that there are inherent risks involved.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one way to mitigate those risks is through diversification.
Okay.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Right.
Spreading your investments across different asset classes can help cushion the impact of any single investment performing poorly.
That's a good analogy.
Right.
So diversification is about spreading your risk and creating a more balanced investment portfolio.
Exactly. It's about creating a strategy that aligns with your comfort level and helps you weather those market fluctuations.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about taking a thoughtful and strategic approach, not just chasing the latest trends or quick wins. It seems like CPF is designed to be a long-term savings and investment tool, not a quick fix.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about building a secure financial foundation for the future, not just looking for short-term gains.
Well said. Now, we've talked about the exciting and sometimes daunting world of CPF investments, but there's another crucial aspect of CPF that we need to address: planning for retirement. I know it might seem far off for some, but those golden years arrive sooner than you think.
I couldn't agree more. Retirement planning is not something to put on the back burner. The earlier you start, the better prepared you'll be to enjoy those years of well-deserved rest and relaxation.
So where do we begin with this whole retirement planning thing? It seems like a pretty big topic. What are some of the key things we need to consider as we approach that stage of life?
The first step is to figure out your retirement income needs. This involves considering your expected lifestyle,
Okay.
your healthcare expenses, and any other financial obligations you might have during retirement.
Right.
It's about creating a realistic budget for your golden years.
So it's about envisioning my ideal retirement lifestyle and then working backward to determine how much income I'll need to make that vision a reality.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's about painting a clear picture of your retirement aspirations and then figuring out the financial resources you'll need to support those goals. Once you have a good grasp of your income needs, you can start exploring the various options available through CPF to generate that income stream.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We've talked about CPF Life, which provides those lifelong monthly payouts.
Yeah.
Are there other ways to use my CPF savings to supplement my retirement income?
Absolutely. We touched on those housing monetization schemes,
Right.
like the Silver Housing Bonus and the Lease Buyback Scheme. These can help unlock a portion of your home equity, providing an additional source of funds for retirement. And don't forget about the flexibility of withdrawing your CPF savings from your retirement account, or RA, once you reach 55. You can choose to withdraw in full or in part, depending on your financial needs and preferences.
So there's quite a bit of flexibility in how I can tap into my CPF savings to meet those retirement needs. It's about customizing those choices, based on my individual circumstance.
Exactly. CPF offers a toolbox of options, and it's up to each individual to select the tools that best suit their situation.
It's about being empowered to make those decisions and having the information and resources to guide those choices. But regardless of my specific approach, one thing seems consistent. Start planning early, right?
Couldn't agree more. The earlier you start planning for retirement, the more time you have to accumulate savings, explore different options, and make adjustments along the way. It's about being proactive and taking ownership of your financial future.
I can't stress that enough. It's so easy to put off retirement planning thinking it's something to worry about later. But as you said, those golden years arrive sooner than you think. Now, I know there are lots of resources available on the CPF website to help individuals plan for retirement. Are there any specific tools or calculators that you find particularly useful?
There are. The CPF Retirement Estimator is a fantastic tool that allows you to project your potential retirement income based on your current savings, your projected contributions, and your desired retirement age.
Okay.
It's like having a sneak peek into your financial future.
A sneak peek. So it's like a crystal ball, but for my finances.
In a way, yes. It helps you visualize the impact of different decisions, like changing your contribution rate or adjusting your retirement age, to make adjustments to your savings or investment strategy if needed.
That sounds incredibly helpful for making those informed choices. Are there any other resources you recommend?
Definitely check out the CPF Life Estimator. This tool helps you calculate your potential monthly payouts under the CPF Life scheme. You can compare different plan options and choose the one that best aligns with your retirement goals and risk tolerance.
So it's about understanding how those lifelong monthly payouts might look based on my current savings and the plan I choose.
Exactly. It takes away some of the guesswork and helps you make those crucial decisions with confidence.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It seems like CPF provides a lot of support and guidance to help individuals navigate those complex retirement planning decisions.
It does. It's about empowering individuals with the knowledge and resources they need to make informed choices about their financial future.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I want to touch on something that's often overlooked in retirement planning: healthcare costs.
Ah, yes. That's a crucial consideration, isn't it?
Yeah.
As we age, our healthcare expenses tend to increase,
Yeah.
and it's essential to factor those potential costs into our retirement plan.
Exactly. And thankfully, CPF provides several avenues to help us manage those costs. We've talked about MediSave and how it covers healthcare expenses, but are there any specific things I should keep in mind as I plan for healthcare and retirement?
One key thing is to ensure you have adequate MediSave savings to cover those potential expenses. You can always top up your MediSave account if needed, taking advantage of various top-up schemes and government grants.
So it's about being proactive and taking steps to ensure those healthcare costs are covered.
Exactly. And as we mentioned earlier, consider purchasing supplementary health insurance to provide that extra layer of protection, especially for larger medical bills or long-term care needs.
So it's about having a multi-layered approach, MediSave as the base, and insurance as that safety net for unexpected costs.
It's about planning ahead and being prepared, recognizing that healthcare needs can change as we age.
Well said. And remember, the CPF website is a wealth of information on healthcare financing and retirement. Be sure to explore those resources to get a complete picture of how CPF can support your healthcare needs throughout your golden years.
It's an invaluable resource for anyone planning for retirement in Singapore. It's packed with information, tools, and guidance to help you navigate those decisions with confidence.
I couldn't agree more. Well, that brings us to the end of part 2 of our CPF deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from exploring the world of CPF investments to emphasizing the importance of planning for retirement, including those often overlooked healthcare costs.
It's been an enlightening journey so far, and we've only just scratched the surface of what CPF has to offer.
I'm eager to continue this exploration in part 3, where we'll delve into those unique schemes designed to support specific groups like self-employed individuals and lower-income earners.
And we'll also tackle some of those common questions and misconceptions surrounding CPF, providing clarity and guidance to help you make the most of this invaluable Social Security system.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into CPF. It's amazing how much there is to uncover about this system.
It really is, and we still have some really intriguing areas to explore, We talked about how CPF supports individuals in traditional employment.
Right.
But what about those who are self-employed?
That's a great point. Self-employment is becoming more and more common.
It is.
And I imagine their financial planning needs are quite different.
You're right. One key difference is that while self-employed individuals are required to contribute to their MediSave account,
Okay.
contributions to the ordinary account and special account are optional.
That makes sense. Healthcare is a universal need, regardless of your work situation. But I'm curious, why is contributing to MetaSave mandatory for the self-employed while the other accounts are optional?
It's about recognizing that as self-employed individuals age,
Okay.
they might not have that same income stability as those in traditional jobs.
Right.
Having those MetaSave contributions ensures a safety net for healthcare expenses,
Right.
especially during those potentially more vulnerable years.
So it's a form of protection,
Yes.
ensuring access to healthcare even if income fluctuates.
Exactly. Now, while contributing to the OA and SA is optional for the self-employed, it's strongly encouraged.
Okay.
It's about taking that proactive approach to building a robust financial foundation, even without those employer contributions.
So it's about taking ownership of their financial future and recognizing that CPF can be a powerful tool even in a non-traditional work setup.
Right.
Are there any incentives to encourage the self-employed to contribute more to their OA and SA?
Absolutely. They can still benefit from those attractive interest rates offered on CPF savings.
Right.
And they have access to various top-up schemes just like those in traditional employment.
Okay, so it seems like even though the contribution structure might differ for the self-employed, the core principles of saving, growing, and utilizing those savings remain the same.
Exactly. CPF strives to be inclusive and adaptable, catering to the diverse needs of Singapore's workforce.
Okay, that's reassuring. It's great to see that the system recognizes and accommodates those different work realities. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about another important group, lower income earners. We touched on the Silver Support Scheme and other government initiatives, but what about CPF itself? Does it offer any specific features to help those who might need that additional support?
Absolutely. CPF has a progressive contribution structure, meaning lower income earners contribute a smaller percentage of their income compared to those who earn more.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
The system recognizes that financial capacity varies.
Yes.
And those who earn less aren't burdened with those disproportionately high contributions.
Right. It's about making contributions manageable for everyone. And on top of those progressive contribution rates, there are government top-up grants and schemes specifically targeted at lower-income individuals.
It's like a safety net within a safety net.
Yes.
Ensuring everyone, regardless of their income level, can benefit from CPF and build a more secure financial foundation.
Exactly. It's about fostering financial inclusivity and creating a system that works for everyone.
Okay, all of this has been so insightful. I feel like I'm finally understanding CPF beyond just the basics. But as we wrap up, I'd love to tackle some of those common questions that people often have about CPF. One I hear a lot is, can I just withdraw all my CPF savings at 55 and manage my own finances?
That's a very common question. People naturally want control over their money.
Yeah.
And while you can withdraw a portion of your savings at 55, it's important to remember that CPF is designed for the long haul, especially retirement.
So it's not just a piggy bank you can crack open whenever you want.
Right. It's about balancing those short-term needs with those long-term goals.
Yeah.
Withdrawing everything at 55 might seem appealing, but it could leave you vulnerable in those later years.
Right.
Especially if you haven't adequately planned for those decades of retirement.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess it's about weighing the pros and cons.
Yeah.
And making the choice that aligns best with my individual circumstances and risk tolerance.
Exactly. CPF Life, for example, provides those lifelong monthly payouts, ensuring you have a steady stream of income, even if you happen to outlive your initial savings.
Right.
Withdrawing everything at 55 might not offer that same level of security.
It's about having options, but also understanding the implications of those choices.
For sure.
I guess that's where seeking personalized advice can be helpful.
Yeah.
Getting a professional perspective on what path makes the most sense
Right.
for your specific situation.
Absolutely. CPF offers a wealth of resources. Their website is packed with calculators, guides, and even personalized advice services.
It's like having a whole team of experts in your corner to help you make those big financial decisions.
Huh?
Now, another common question is, can I use my CPF savings to pay for my children's education?
Yes. Education is a top priority for many families. While CPF is primarily focused on those core needs of housing, healthcare, and retirement,
Right.
there are some specific instances where you can use your OA savings for education.
Okay, so it's not a complete no-go.
Right. You can use your OA savings to pay for approved educational courses for yourself or your spouse,
Okay.
but not directly for your children's education. However, you can use those savings to service a loan for an HDB property that your child eventually buys from you.
There's an indirect way of supporting your children's housing aspirations,
Yes.
which in turn can free up their finances for other things like education. It's a bit nuanced, but it highlights how CPF tries to balance providing for those core needs while still offering some flexibility.
Exactly. It's about understanding the rules and exploring those different avenues within the system to meet your financial goals.
Okay, one final question before we wrap up. What happens to your CPF savings if you decide to leave Singapore for good?
If you're no longer a Singapore citizen or permanent resident, you can withdraw your CPF savings subject to certain conditions.
So your savings don't get locked away forever if you choose to relocate.
No, they don't. But it's important to note that some schemes like CPF Life are specifically designed for Singapore citizens and permanent residents.
Right.
It's crucial to factor those details into your financial planning if you're considering retiring outside of Singapore.
That's a good reminder. It's about being aware of those different rules and limitations,
Yes,
especially when major life changes are involved. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive.
it has.
I feel like we've really demystified CPF and revealed its true power not just as a savings scheme, but as a comprehensive social safety net.
It's been a pleasure exploring these complexities with you.
Likewise.
Hopefully, our listeners now have a clearer picture of how CPF can help them build a more secure financial future.
Absolutely. We've covered so much ground, from maximizing those savings and navigating those investment options to understanding the various ways CPF supports individuals throughout their lives, from homeownership and healthcare to retirement planning. And we even tackled those tricky questions that often pop up. It's been a whirlwind tour of all things CPF.
And remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about CPF, the better equipped you'll be to make those informed decisions that shape your financial well-being.
Couldn't agree more. We encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep learning. The CPF website is an amazing resource. Use it. And don't hesitate to seek personalized advice when needed.
It's your financial future. Take charge and make it a bright one.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of CPF. Until next time, happy saving, investing, and planning for a financially secure future.